All right. Welcome to Awaken to the Truth podcast here. And I'm Debbie Bryan. I am a medium and have my gifts all my life. And my co host is Tracy Fellenstein. And she is going to ask questions. And I told her, please don't let me know in advance. I want to be real, raw, and truthful. And hopefully you will feel that and resonate and comment afterwards and tell us what you would like us to discuss also.
I like that. So, my first question for you is what is a soul and where does it come from?
Well, a soul is, we have one soul. And all these people, beings, even animals have souls. And it's one, I don't know where it came from. It was evolved, like it was given to us. And our soul comes down to earth in one lifetime, like the time we're living right now. But the soul then leaves the body, the physical body behind and goes up and crosses over, and we can discuss all that. But the soul is always your soul, and it goes to heaven, and it goes to a spot where in the source heaven is time is endless, and you actually come down here to learn and to grow, to be what God is. God, like I say, God source. I use God's name as source, which is the unconditional endless love, which is the heart infinity that Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary gave me. We can talk about that later too.
Okay.
But about what God source is, unconditional endless love. So our soul is trying to become godlike, learning and growing, coming here for many lifetimes because we were not allowed to remember why we were here. It was like that Men in Black, you get zapped.
Okay.
It's true though. It's like, and luckily this lifetime, maybe I can't remember other lifetimes because I know most of my lifetimes have been spiritual, but I didn't get zapped. I got to remember it and keep it.
Okay. So is it the same soul?
You get one soul, you're it. That's it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So when we pass, what happens to our souls?
So your soul leaves your body before your last breath, and your soul can leave your body and travel and astral travel and so on too, but it's still, there's a tether and you're still breathing in a human body. It will come back, and we can talk about astral traveling and dreaming at another time. But the soul, when you to take your last breath as a human in this lifetime, your soul will leave your body before maybe or in your last breath, but it leaves. And there's a study done in the, like, I think it was 1930s, that some person was dying, and they paid for a study, and they were in like a vacuum packed room and weights and all this stuff on their body, and there's videos, and it was black and white, and they just wanted to prove that the soul had some weight on it, and they proved that the soul had 0.0 whatever, because they saw the scales change on that body, and no one was touching it, and they were all observing outside as scientists, and then that was the last breath of the person. So they proved that there is a little bit of a weight of your soul that leaves before your last breath, human breath here.
Interesting. And what happens to it then when you say leaves?
Okay. What I have seen happen is that it leaves the physical body, it comes above the body, and a lot of the souls choose to stay around and help their loved ones for a while. And most of them will stay until they have a wake or funeral or a celebration of life, whatever you may do.
Okay.
And because they want to help their loved ones, and feeling they don't sometimes realize it causes problems, but they just are wanting to see how, most of it's because of love. They're doing it because of love of how much they love their loved ones. Some of it want to see how you're going to acknowledge their death. I've also seen souls that have had traumatic deaths that their subconscious and conscious did not know like we're not on the same page. So the souls stuck around because there was a traumatic death that they were like, no, I'm still alive. What are you talking about? How I'm here? I mean, I even saw it with my niece when she got killed by a school bus coming out of the bus at age 12. She was she missed her crossing over because she was so concerned with her family and saying, I'm here. What are you talking about? So it took her, she told me 7 years to find the portal to cross over. And at that time I think I was in my early 20s, and I felt horrible because I didn't know that, and I didn't know I could help. And um, and that's something, I had to learn.
So the portal, does that happen before their last breath or once they see the family mourn their loss?
It can it usually is the morning of the loss, and it usually is open for 72 hours after that
Okay.
time or less. Some people, souls, loop, the portals close
Okay.
because they're so confused and about crossing over. And I tell people, let me know. Just I'll make sure your loved one gets to the portal, cross over, because if they don't, it causes chaos. It doesn't let people heal. It's not good for a soul to get stuck.
So the healing, when you say it doesn't allow them to heal, does that mean the loved one's here
Yes.
or the person who passed?
The loved one's here. Good question.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, sharing my recent experience, we lost my father like 2 months ago, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have a funeral. We didn't have a celebration of life. Was my father able to make it through the portal?
Did you ask me to make sure?
Did I ask you?
Yes.
No, because I didn't know.
But you did. We talked about it. You didn't ask me to make sure, but we talked about what happened, and I knew it was on my list to make sure.
Okay. So I do remember asking because my mom had asked.
Right, and you were concerned because you were not having a celebration of life or anything.
Yes.
And I said, don't worry, I will make sure.
Okay.
So you really did in a roundabout way.
Yes, I guess at that moment, yes, with everything going on,
yes,
I probably didn't realize
mm-hmm.
that. So do they have to make it through the portal in order for you to see signs from them or receive signs from them?
No, they can still be active here.
Okay.
But a lot of their active, if they're earthbound, are frustration, and they cause chaos and anger, and they can do signs, or they can give a lot of people like have so much anxiety. Well, that's because they're feeling the frustration from their loved ones that haven't crossed. So they can still do signs and be active both ways. There is no hell. There's no purgatory. There's no fire and brimstone. I'm sorry, there is a purgatory, but there's no fire and brimstone. And souls can get lost in a purgatory.
Okay.
Or they can be earthbound, or they can cross over.
Okay.
And maybe there's more. Haven't been taught or reminded at this time. Okay. Always open for that.
So once they cross over, what's the difference of having a dream about them or a sign from them?
Well, most people's dreams are when they're sleeping, and they come and they have a dream and they worked with them, or the dream was only about their loved one. And that can happen, and it's a way to communicate with you and tell you that they're okay and that they are actively being involved in your life. And sometimes they can just help you heal. They can help you with your life and decisions. And just recently I had a dream, and I know the difference. And I was with my dad, and my dad passed, and I was with my dad most of the time. I was time traveling. We talk about that later, but and it was times that were like this time, but not exactly. But it was with my dad, and I would maybe kind of miss him more. But I know he was there, and I know he was such a fabulous, my best teacher, earthly teacher here. So Yeah, there's dreams, and then the signs are when you don't force them to happen. And birds are fabulous at bringing signs because you can't control a bird to fly by
No.
you.
Mm-hmm.
And I have windows in front of us, like, and when I'm with clients and so on, a lot of times they will come right up, sit, sometimes literally fly right in the window and look, stare at us and straight at us. And a lot of times they're cardinals, blue jays, and hummingbirds are huge.
Yes. I've seen a lot of blue jays since my dad
Mm-hmm.
has passed.
Yep.
And he does not want to sit still for me to take a picture.
Oh.
And that would be my dad.
Yep. And just to know that they can be around you all the time.
Yes. So when you dream about your dad and you're traveling,
Mm-hmm.
what are some of those dreams that you have? Is
Well,
it things you guys did?
Yes, it's usually past. Like,
Okay.
I don't think we've done anything for future. I'm trying to rewind in my brain, but mostly past, like, of either what we really did or what it was somewhat like our lifetime. Like the last time I was with him, we were on a vacation, a family vacation that was somewhat like what we would do, but it really wasn't. We didn't have this car we used. We didn't go to this place, but we always head down south, and we were never at this exact place. And then the events that happened never happened that way. And I honestly could tell you that I came out of there going, well, we did it right much better this lifetime. And that's what I'm tending to find out. Like, oh, this lifetime we're doing it better.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So is a dream different than astro traveling?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Astro.
A dream sometimes can work things out.
Meaning?
Meaning you might not have to go through this event in this lifetime, but you can work it out in a dream.
Okay.
Either you have to mend someone or tell someone off, or give them the piece of your mind, or like you didn't speak your mind. You can dream that, and you did it in that dream. That then doesn't have to happen in real life, good or bad. It's allowing you to work those things out.
Now, could that happen with somebody who's currently alive?
Yes, absolutely.
And somebody who is deceased?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And both. People's disease could be part. Sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And is that all part of the astral?
No. I think that's more like timeline, like helping you with your contract and your timeline traveling. And sometimes dreams are visions, like, of what can happen. I always got confused when I was very young, at 4 years old, probably starting then maybe, but always thinking I was dreaming, but I didn't know they were visions.
So when did you learn that?
I don't know, a long time, because it just was normal. And you're 3, 4, 5 years old, and you tell your parents, "Oh, I dreamt that." That's what I said all the time. I dreamt. Okay. And I said it after the fact always. I didn't come out and say it. Oh, this is what I dreamt. But thank goodness, and I'm so grateful, that was normal to me. And it wasn't a burden or a curse. It was like, they were like, okay. They listened. Okay. They didn't even ask questions usually.
Your parents?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's like, oh, okay.
But they're gifted too.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when your loved one crosses over, what are some signs that they give you?
Everybody's different. Everybody. But sometimes they can be smell. They can be, and sometimes it can be multiple things. So smell, scent, and usually the scent is quick.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if someone had a favorite perfume, or they smoked or cigar, like like, and there's no reason for that, then boom, it's there. It's them.
Okay.
But it's gone, and you're like, and you always go, I did that. Did I just smell that? No. And you question yourself, and then you're like, no, it didn't happen, and you move on. They can literally drop things out of thin air, basically. Pennies and dimes and nickels, feathers, rainbows, birds coming. And even if I tell people, if you're doing something and you're not intentionally trying to think about your dad,
Mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden, because not your doing, your dad, a thought about your dad pops in your head, and you didn't create that, and you know you didn't create that,
Mm-hmm.
right? A, you have to trust it that he's here, and that B, the next maybe something that happens, or words of a song, or a conversation that may be over here, or TV or something like that, when that, then the next little whatever, that's what he's trying to tell you. It's crazy because it's definitely comes a lot with like songs,
Okay.
but it's that there's no trying to force that thought of dad,
Okay.
and it just
And then you have to tune in to what's happening next.
yeah, and listen and
Yeah.
listen and listen and trust. I even love it when you're like it happens, and then you've got people, strangers behind you, you don't even know, and they're having a conversation, and you have to go, oh, this is my message, and you try to make sure you're like listening and hearing, and like, okay, like, sorry, whatever you're talking about, my loved one wants me to pay attention to,
So what advice can you give to people on how to be more in tune with that? I think, especially right when it happens, I know for myself personally, you're so caught up in all the events and family and loved ones that you're not always paying attention to those signs.
Well, the biggest thing is that you have to be a little more in tune to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, my dad popped in, and we weren't talking about my dad, like that. And then trust. We start doubting that we heard what, got the right message, or it really, no, it wasn't him, like that. Because you didn't force that thought. And honestly, most of those thoughts sound like your own voice, not them.
Okay.
So that gets confusing. Sometimes it can be them and sound like them, but most of the time it's you're hearing your own voice in those thoughts. But it's that knowing that you didn't force those thoughts.
Okay. Recently, I was with my mom in my dad's room, and we were having a conversation, and all of a sudden, I was so cold. I mean, I could have wrapped myself up in a blanket, and I was like, I know that he's here listening to mine and her conversation. We weren't talking about him at the time. It just, that was...
And they come cold. They do
yes.
come. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And then a confirmation chill will come too sometimes. And I know you're good at getting those. But like that little, like, I don't know, people have some cute names for Willie, I don't know, whatever. But it's just that, like, chill when there's no reason for it, and you didn't step outside and get a wind or whatever. It's just like, boom, and then it's gone. That is confirmation too, then.
And then what about, like, the bright lights, like, out of the corner?
Orbs and stuff?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Those.
Okay, yes.
Yes. For a while, right when he first passed, when I would go to bed at night, it was just, like, out of the corner.
And peripheral, always, yeah.
Yes. And my room is very dark, so I would be like, what? And we spoke, and you had said that those were my father.
Yes. And when you really get, like, they come all the way out of the peripheral, and it's a little spark, and I call them orbs also. But when you really, I just got one literally right above me. But okay, like when you really start focusing on meditating and opening your third eye, and they can come more directed in front of you. And you'll probably hear this a bazillion times. Meditation is the key.
Yes.
Yes. stopping that chitter chatter in your brain.
And I think we all have a hard time. Well, not you, but the rest of
Sometimes
us.
I do. If I go into a ton of people in a large crowd, concert, whatever, I can come home and I'm bringing their energy, and it's like party in my third eye. I can have a couple nights like that a year.
Ah, interesting.
Mm-hmm. Especially if it's anger. If I'm around a lot of anger, protesting, whatever. Yeah, that's harsher for me. I feel it.
I could see that. I think anger affects all of us.
Yes, the empaths. Yay!
So did we touch on the astral traveling and like how it's different from
I don't think so.
dreaming?
Okay.
Let's talk about that.
Okay, good. So astral, we have many timelines rolling all at once.
Okay.
And we're in a linear timeline here, but there's many timelines going on in the other realms. So what you can
meaning, not to cut you off, but meaning
Please.
like previous lifetimes for us, or
no, it's all concurrent.
Okay.
If there was a movie, Everything Everywhere at Once or something like that, and I'm like, yep, that's about right. And so those timelines are happening, and mostly with your same soul family.
Okay.
But people play different roles, or one little decision can change. You could see how it completely changed the path of your timeline.
Okay.
Or you choose not to marry someone, or you choose this. Like, it just completely changes your timeline. So when you're time traveling, you're going into those different timelines and working. I'm always working, but like working things out. I don't know. I don't really rest at night. I am constantly in a different dimension timeline, but a lot of times I'm helping others, and I guess that doesn't matter. But one time I've had a sign above my bed saying I need a night off, or I'm taking a night off. That doesn't help. It didn't help me. People suggested that didn't help. So, and you just happened to you, didn't it? Like, yeah, didn't you say
Yes.
that? Talk about that.
Yeah, I had a dream, what I thought was a dream, and I was like crossing paths with all these people from my past. Like, I mean, some of them were like 10, 12 years ago, people that I haven't seen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and I felt like once I like interacted with one, then I was like moving on to the next. Is there an aura person or something?
You can tell she knows me. Well, like, yeah. Like,
okay.
Company.
But yeah, I woke up exhausted, and we've talked about this.
And then, then unfortunately, I'm like, yeah, it's my life. She goes, how do you do that? Yeah, it's havoc on your body.
Yes.
It really is.
So what works for you to get them to stop so you don't?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
Well, then.
I don't. And when I pop up at least 3 times a night. I really usually remember what I was doing and where I was at. I have to kind of rephrase it in my brain so it kind of remember it. Sometimes I don't, sometimes I do. And then I can think about, oh, I did this and this and this last night, But sometimes, I don't know, it was last night or something, I was like, oh, that was so exhausting, but I completely forget, like, after. And of course I tell people, oh, put a pen and paper or take a note on your phone. Do I know? Because, yeah, it's constant.
Yes. I don't ever really remember much, but I did remember that one and shared it with you.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't imagine doing that every night, though.
Well, I don't make good decisions. Like, I'm always trying to save people, and like physically, and sometimes carry them, or like put them on my bike up a steep hill, or what was the silliest thing I can physically remember is time traveling, and I chose to. Don't ask me. I forget my common sense when I'm doing this, I guess. But I literally was saving somebody, but carrying them over roofs of houses, and we were jumping to, like
an action movie?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And whoever that person was, I don't even remember who I was carrying, whatever. I woke up feeling so rough, tired, and I'm like, why did I do this? And why did I have to run over like the arches of the roof of the house? Wasn't there the better way? When time was like saving, and I grew up being a lifeguard and stuff, there was a huge lake, and I saw somebody on the other side, kind of corner, like, this person is going to have trouble. And my gut, whatever, knew. So this, whoever got in the water, I don't know if they fell, whatever, and they couldn't swim. And there was people around, but no one paid attention. So I decided to swim diagonally a long ways away to go save them, which I think it would have been smarter to run, whatever, and get in right by them, by saving them. I made it, but it's just things like that. You're like, that's not smart, and you feel it, and it takes a toll on your body.
So how do you recover from that then?
I haven't figured out. Please. Meditation. I always tend to say, I think, I don't know, maybe once in my lifetime, but I don't know, maybe not, that this is my best timeline, and I'm doing the best decisions here.
I agree with you.
You feel the same way too?
Yes. Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
And I make sure I say that. And I don't know if there's been, honestly, one time that I can go look back and go, oh, that was better. So.
Well, I'm glad that we got together today to do this.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. There's more to come, but
yes.
Please like, share, follow, comment, and we will address whatever you want to hear.
Whatever topics.
PG.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
All right. Thanks for now. Bye.
Bye.